Hey, what's up everybody? This is Evan from Adventure.Happy, and today we're starting a new series of videos where we're going to go in depth reviewing some of our favorite pieces of backpacking gear. Now, I'm by no means an expert, but I do spend a lot of time researching before I pull the trigger on purchasing a product. I've probably spent countless hours looking at backpacking gear. I'm sure I'm not alone out there. I'm sure that anyone who's come across this video is probably as much of a gear junkie as I am. And if that's the case, stick around because I'm gonna grab one of my favorite pieces of backpacking gear. I'm gonna lay it out on the table here. We're gonna go over all the features of it that make me think that it is a fantastic piece of gear that I would highly recommend. Now, what piece of gear should we start with? Well, I'm thinking it's one of the big three. Check it out. This is the Gossamer Gear Gorilla 40-liter backpack, and I'm gonna lay it out and show you guys why I think it is one of the best backpacks that you can find. All right, so here we go. Like I said, this is the Gossamer Gear Gorilla 40-liter pack. This is the 2015 model of this pack. There have been a couple of redesigns since then. They added a couple of little features on the newest version that I think actually make this pack even better, but I'll cover those as they come up. As you see it here, this is weighing in at 961 grams, or just a tiny bit under 34 ounces. This is a size large body with a size medium hip belt. At Gossamer Gear, you do need to pick those pieces individually, so make sure you're checking the sizes to get it right. I love that feature for a few reasons. First of all, it's nice and customizable, so if you've got a longer torso with a narrower waist like I do, it's easy to get a pack that fits you just right. It also means that the hip belt is detachable, which can come in handy if you want to strip this thing down a little bit to make more of a day pack. There are some other removable parts on here that we'll go over as we go. I'll show you how that works. So, on the front, one of my favorite features and an absolute must-have for any backpack that I buy now is a gigantic Swallow the World stretchable mesh pouch. You can fit so much gear in here, it is out of control. This thing stretches out for days, and it's still in really good condition considering I have been using this pack for a few seasons now. No rips, no tears, no snags, no nothing. I guess I should go into that real quick. Most of the material here is aerobic ripstop nylon. So it's not the lightest fabric in the world, but it is super durable when it comes to abrasion resistance especially. There's a lot of manufacturers out there using dynamic composite fabrics, which can be kind of hit or miss with the abrasion resistance depending on what their sort of outer layer is, but that's a whole other thing. All I can say is the durability on this pack has been outstanding since I've had it. Some people don't like stretchy mesh on the outside of their pack because if you're doing a lot of bushwhacking and that sort of stuff, it can snag, it can tear. Like I said, I have had zero issues with that so far, but it is something to consider. You can mitigate that a lot by throwing a pack cover over top. Obviously, it gives it a barrier so that it won't snag on stuff, which I do sometimes if I'm thinking it's going to be really, really bushwhacky. On the bottom, we've got two little clips where you fit in the tips of your trekking poles. They slide up through here and they fit underneath this webbing, cinch it down nice and tight, holds them great, really nice and secure. There are tie spots along here where you could add your own shock cord if you want to make a compression system for the front. I never really felt the need, but they're there if you do want them. Ice axe loop, you slide your ice axe in, fold it over, run the handle up through here, and you've got a nice secure ice axe carry on that side. On the top, it's a pretty minimalist flap system. There is a pocket, which I find is very handy. I usually keep my headlamp, maybe my toilet paper, things that I want to have access to. I keep them up there just so that they're handy, easy to grab. I like that. It is a lot more minimalist than the big heavy brains that you get from some of the larger pack manufacturers like your Gregory's and stuff like that. They tend to have a really big, heavy brain that may or may not be removable, which can be a bonus, but is not something that I ever felt that I needed, so I like this system. Folds over nicely, keeps rain, dirt, and stuff from getting inside the pack. Also has a nice minimalist aesthetic. The flap is held by 2 clips, a little bit of webbing to cinch them down nice and tight to compress what's inside. The one criticism I've ever been able to find with this pack is these webbing bits are very slick. So what that means is if you've got a pack that's pretty tightly packed and you want to try to cinch it down nice and tight, they do tend to slip free a little bit. It means that you can't really get a nice tight cinching of this. So easy solution for that. You just do a little overhand knot like so when you cinch it up, and voila, nothing's going to slip past that. That's the easy fix that I've found for that. I'm not sure if this is still an issue or anyone else would even consider it an issue. It's just something that I noticed that kind of bugged me a little bit. Should be noted, this backpack was a factory second purchase, which means there's some sort of small little manufacturing defect somewhere along the way that means they got a big discount on it, but doesn't affect the use of the pack at all. Far as I could see, the only thing I've ever been able to notice is that these are sewed on in opposite directions. I've never seen any sort of other misstitch or problem at all. Like, this pack has been pristine, and I got probably 30% off because of that, I'm assuming. Maybe there's something else going on that I've just never noticed, but as far as I can tell, that's pretty much it. Okay, so yeah, that's pretty much it for the front. Pretty straightforward. I like the minimalism of this pack. It's not super complicated. There's not a lot of pockets and stuff to deal with. It's just very simple. On your sides, you've got 2 sets of compression straps on each side and a nice big deep side pocket. So usually what I do when I'm packing this pack is I will put my tent on the outside, running through these compression straps so that it's secured to the outside, and then on the other side I carry my water bottles. So I usually just do 2 1-liter smart water bottles. They fit in there perfectly, like it was made for it, and it holds everything nice and secure, keeps everything nice and balanced too, having the tent on the one side, water bottle on the other side. That way I'm not keeping my wet tent in with the rest of my gear, which is nice, and it's accessible if I want to get at it. One thing I will say about the newest version of this pack is the design's essentially the same as what they've got going on here, although they put clips into this webbing on the compression strap, which I think is awesome. I would love to have that on here. I think that that is awesome on the newest version, that there's just a clippable strap here, which makes everything nice and easy. If there's going to be a spot on your pack that's going to get abraded, it's often these side pockets. That's why it's this heavier duty aerobic material, and it looks fantastic. There's maybe a little bit of a wear or snag there, but all in all, looks great. Still in fantastic condition after all these years of use. Okay, now opening it up to take a quick look inside. So the volume on the main body up until this seam where the extension collar starts is, I believe, about 29 liters. And then obviously you get some more room up at the top there. I've never had any problem fitting my 3-season gear into this pack, with the caveat that I do keep my tent on the outside of the pack. I've done up to about 5 days with this pack, and it's worked out just fine with that volume. But obviously, your mileage may vary depending on how bulky your gear is. Inside, let's see that here. This is the aluminum stay that forms the frame. There is a sleeve in here where you can fit in a water bladder, a little loop that you can hang it from. Otherwise, it is just a nice deep single pocket, nice and simple. but extremely functional. Let's flip her over here. Your shoulder straps. Really well designed straps on this thing. Nicely padded and nicely vented too. They've got really good airflow from this mesh. Makes it really comfortable to carry. There are a couple of tie-out points, an adjustable sternum strap. You got your adjustable straps on the side. Notice there are no load lifter straps on this pack. That's because it's a 40-liter pack. You're probably not going to be carrying so much gear that you would need it. I never felt like I have, although on heavier loads, when I've had over 35 pounds in this thing, it can pull on the shoulders a little bit. Obviously, that's me pushing this pack, beyond the load capacity that's probably ideal for it. Something to keep in mind, if your normal pack weight is often 40 pounds, probably want something a little bit beefier. I know that Gossamer Gear's Silverback, which is 55 liters, and Mariposa, which is 60 liters, both have sternum straps, load lifter straps. So that's something that you're looking for. Also on the back here, we've got 2 ports for water bladder. If that's your thing, I do the smart water bottles, so I never really need that. And then here we have one of my favorite features of this pack is the Sitlight Pad. There is a closed cell foam pad holder spot right here along the back panel that has a couple of purposes. First of all, gives you a little bit of structure, a little bit of rigidity, gives you a little bit of padding along your back. It is easily removable, which is great. So this isn't the pad that came with the pack. I kind of wore out my Sitlight pad by abusing it. So this is just a couple of pieces of a Thermarest Z-Lite pad that I've been using instead. Works great. The Sitlight pad piece does go just a little bit further, so it kind of fills the slot a little bit better. But I mean, I've had no problems using this. I can order a replacement one from Gossamer Gear, but I just never have because I had this closed cell foam kicking around and it works just fine. So that's what I've been using. It does come with a pad though, so you can use it as a seat when you get to camp, or you could use it as a frame if you want to remove that aluminum frame from the pack. If you've got a lighter load, you can remove that aluminum frame, just use the foam frame, and that can work really well for day hikes and stuff like that. Going down to the hip belt, nicely padded, very comfortable hip belt, gigantic pockets, you can fit, a lot of stuff in there. The hip belt is custom sizable, so like I said, I got a large pack body for a little bit of extra length and a medium hip belt because I have a fairly narrow waist, and that combination is awesome for me. Fits me like a glove. That brings me to one of my favorite things about this pack is it is slightly modular. You can strip it down or build it up based on your needs a little bit. So like I said, Sitlight pad, take that out if you don't need it. Okay, that saves you a couple ounces probably. Say you've got to camp already. You've unloaded all your big heavy stuff, your food's packed away, but you want to go try to do a little quick rip up to a peak. So you want something more lightweight and minimalist. So what do? Aluminum stay. Take it straight out. Why not? Put that off on the side. Now you've got a nice compressible, lightweight day pack. You want to go even more minimalist than that? A little bit of Velcro. And you can remove your hip belt even. Now this thing's getting super light. Want a little bit more structure? Go ahead and put that little piece of foam back in there. Give yourself a little bit of a back. One of the other awesome features about this pack is this hip belt is interchangeable with some of Gossamer Gear's other products. So say you want a 40-liter pack and a 60-liter pack. Well, you can go ahead and buy the Mariposa, just the pack body, and there's no need to buy a separate hip belt. You can just swap them back and forth between the two packs as you need. All right, so there you go. That's the Gossamer Gear Gorilla. I guess I should say these are retailing at $215 US for the pack body, and then I believe it's another $45 for the belt. Not the cheapest option out there, obviously, but you are getting a seriously high quality piece of gear for the price. It is, like I said, just over 2 pounds. I think the newest model actually is probably a little bit lighter because they got the new fabric that they use is a little bit lighter and just as durable. So I think that you come in at or just below the 2 pound mark with the new model. Can't recommend this thing highly enough, honestly. Gossamer Gear has been fantastic, and I would gladly purchase another pack from them if this one ever wears to the point that I need to do that. But like I said, after 3 years now using this thing and beating the hell out of it, it still is in fantastic condition. If you're looking for a sort of mid-size backpack, your gear's not too bulky, not too heavy, this is an awesome option. You don't need to be an ultralighter to use this pack. I'm obviously not. I often carry 30 pounds or more of gear in this thing for a 3-day trip, and I've had no issues whatsoever. Thanks. If there's any questions, obviously, you guys can hit me up in the comments below. And if there's any other pieces of gear that you'd like me to do a review on, I'm taking suggestions because we're going to go through a bunch of this stuff in the near future. So thanks for watching, everybody. See you on the trail.